finally, I do have to ask you about building relationships.
Okay.
Because, yeah, I look around and you have so many letters we can look at later from world leaders. You have a reputation of building strong friendships and relationships with people and prime ministers and presidents on opposing sides of politics and business. And yet you're friends with them. You admire them, and you talk in very positive terms about them. So I'm curious about building relationships in a time of divisiveness. There's a lot of hate. There's a lot of divisiveness. People stereotype entire groups. Here's the question. Is it possible, speaking to a great relationship expert like yourself, can you disagree and still be friends?
Oh, I think that only is not possible. If we don't learn how to do that, we've got a problem as a nation and a problem as a company if you've got that in the company and otherwise. At a company level, if you're not able to have very healthy give and take, I call it constructive friction, then you're not going to arrive at the right decision. You've got to lead by example. Secondly, if people make it personal, that violates the code at Cisco, and it violates the code for my companies that I'm coaching. It's fine to disagree, but you never make it personal and you never make it about the other person. And the day you're not willing to accept challenges, you can't be a leader, at least not for the companies I work with. When you think about it, I get along with the Democrats and the Republicans very well. I get along with Nancy Pelosi very well and Kevin McCarthy very well. I got along with John McCain prior to his passing, who was a very, very good friend. I was one of his 5 national co-chairs, and Chuck Schumer. When I went back to West Virginia University and started to talk about a startup state, we had the governor, the president of the Senate, the Speaker of the House, our 2 great senators, one a Democrat, Joe Manchin, one a great Republican, Shelley Moore Capito. We all came together with a common vision. And so I think this is what leadership's about. It's not one of dividing groups. And candidly, I learned a long time ago in business or in sports, if I could divide the other team, I had them. And so I believe leadership is about bringing us together. It's about playing for a higher purpose. And it's about creating an environment where people like the healthy give and take. However, once a decision is made, we have to understand we all support it as though it was our decision. It was one of the reasons my turnover ran so low at Cisco. In Valley, that averages just outside the window here, turnover probably in the 12 to 15% range. We ran 5% for 20-some years. And acquired companies, which normally runs, 20% after you acquire a company for the next 5 years, average attrition, voluntary, we ran 4%. And we created that culture of we like diversity, diverse teams work better together. We had 30% of our board being female before even people were talking the concept, 20 years ago. And we didn't do it for diversity's sake, although that's the right thing to do. We did it just because the company runs better. It's the right thing to do, and it's representative of our customers and our employee base. And so often just doing the right thing is also really good for business.